Welcome to the Daily Agenda, and we have a very interesting podcast tonight about Glen Saffer and his roadmen. And in a moment I'm going to play you a number of covertly intercepted messages and voice notes outlining a conspiracy to commit aggravated assault and also a quite open and transparent incitement to violence against nationalists. In the material you're about to see, there are two principal targets. One, of course, is Dean Neal, also known as the traditional bricklayer, and the other one, of course, is me, although they tend to obsess a little more over me than they do Dean Neal. Interesting. Now, Saffer, you will remember, was the source of information to the Metropolitan Police about Dean Neal, which stopped him from attending the Epping protest at the Bell Hotel. He was asked who was most likely to cause trouble, and Dean Neal was one of the names that he gave, which is absolute nonsense, because Dean Neal doesn't go around causing trouble, a fact that we all know. It's a documented fact. But obviously the Met just wanted somebody to target, because they've got to get their figures, their statistics boosted, haven't they? And Saffer, of course, is a grass. And it wasn't just Dean Neal that he grassed on a number of people. And in fact, in this conspiracy, they actually mention making up false allegations against us to get us arrested by bent coppers. That's nothing new, is it? Bent coppers and the centre-right, they've been conspiring with one another for years. I've already wiped the floor with them once, sorry, twice. They never seem to learn. But they'll just have to learn the hard way, won't they? And then, of course, Glen Saffer interjects to say, oh, well, now the thing is, brothers, Governor, basically he was trying to say that he's the boss and what you say goes, and so he's the ringleader of the conspiracy in the legal context. That's very important, and that we should all be given a good kicking, like the old public school board days, and also that our windows should be put through. I mean, the man obviously is playing with fire. I mean, he obviously enjoys playing with fire, because he's 4'9", gobshire. Couldn't find his way out of a wet paper bag, a fact which is perfectly well documented, despite the boxing gym that he ran. I mean, he's a joke of a man, quite frankly. And his roadmen, well, there's some of the most appalling roadmen I've ever seen. But anyway, yes, I won't waste any more of your time on this brief intro. I'll come back to you once you've watched it. And bearing in mind, this is not just against myself and Dean Neal. This is against all nationalists, and this material comes from two undercover nationalist agents inside their gang. And before we go any further, we have dozens of undercover agents inside the centre-right all over the country, eavesdropping, watching and spying on operations, conspiracies just like this against nationalists. Okay? And we'll come back to that matter later. But first of all, let's roll.
This is serious what's happening today. We are being intruded by the far right. If anybody sees far right, smash them in. We will not take Nazis. They are Nazis who's come here today to infiltrate us. We're not Nazis. No, but we've got...
James Goddard, we called him out for being a Nazi in the PA. He turned around at a meeting in Manchester with us and he went up to Tommy and went, I'm going to be bigger than you. He got run out of London. He's a grass. He's a police informer. 100% I've got proof he is a grass. James Goddard's a grass. Who's behind it? Once we find these addresses, yeah, we need to stand outside and we need to do a live on YouTube or TikTok and say these are the Nazis. Right? These are the people we not stand with. All right? And let the immigrants, or not the immigrants, or let the black lads, or the mixed race lads, the people who are against Nazism, which we are, let them sort it out then. Because this was in London, mate, they'd have their windows put in. All right? Because they wouldn't stand for that. We wouldn't stand for no national front. So all I'm saying here is that we'll leave it to them. So once we get these cunts addresses from Homeland in Norwich, that's what we got to do.
I'm sure it is. I watched that video, and I'm quite good with accents, and he's definitely got a Nottingham accent. And I googled his name with BMP, and after that, and whatever else, I've done the research, and that's definitely him. Yeah, so he's spouting off about you. He's been fucking jailed himself. Yeah, he's not the Middlesex guy. There's even a picture of him there. Simon Tomlin of Eastwood, Nottingham, was jailed for 6 months after online trolling and attacking a female police officer.
Well, they don't realise, me and Tom and us lot, right, we've been fighting these cunts since 2009, these Nazi bastards. Alright, so this is going back years and years and years now, since 2009, we've been smashing these cunts. What we need to be chanting now is one race, a human race. That's what we need to be chanting. Get up these fucking Nazis, get up their sleeves, mate. And also, we've got to find these homeland bastards now, because I'm gunning for these. Because it's all good to do with them.
I've run out of credits on other. I've run out of credits on 192.com, but if anyone goes on 192.com, I think you have to pay about £5 or something. I ain't got my debit card with me, I was to do it now. You can just put in Simon Tomlin, Eastwood, Nottingham, and it'll give you his address. Glenn, I don't know anything about this bloke, but if I was to contact him on Facebook under my other account, not my own one, obviously, what would I say to him to get him on side so I can basically have a Facebook conversation with him? What is he? What does he do? What does he believe in? Because I don't really understand. I'm being a bit thick.
He's a nationalist. Which to get them out and send them home. If they got in power, they want to be paying £5,000 to each ethnic to go home to their family's house. But how can they go to their family houses when they were born here? What they are, they're like a Hitler mob, where they only want white people in this country.
Fuck that, I'm painting myself black. Send me back over to France and I'm coming back on a dinghy.
So I think you saw there quite clearly, didn't you? What a crackpot this Glen Saffer is. King of the roadmen. Now, bearing in mind, one of the little roadmen that's working with him, Nathan, he's named in the transcript, his number's in there, same as Saffer's and all the other scroats. And he's a cripple in a wheelchair. Highly dangerous, isn't he, in person? You get the point I'm making? And I'm reliably informed that he's threatened a number of other people. Now, he was scheming and plotting with Saffer to try and ingratiate himself with me, thinking that I was dumb enough to fall for some clown who just contacted me out of the blue, wanting an anonymous conversation of a very revealing nature. I've been in this business for 35 years. I don't just swallow garbage that anonymous clowns tell me through egghead accounts and fake profiles on social media. I mean, where are these people coming from? The lack of operational security for a start is laughable. Truly it is. On their part, we've had a damn good laugh at it. And we've sat there laughing for ages about all the voice notes that they've left each other, the damning, incriminating evidence of conspiracy to commit aggravated assault and incitement to violence and also doxing. These people are clowns. They are absolute rank amateurs of the lowest order, And as for Saffer, whilst he runs or claims to run a boxing gym, he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. But he does make it perfectly clear, does he not, in his little conspiraling session, that he's working with Tommy. And that, me and Tommy, we've been fighting against these Nazis for years. Well, I'm not a Nazi. I'm not a National Socialist. I don't worship Adolf Hitler. I don't even worship Oswald Mosley. I don't subscribe to it. And I've had years and years of conflict with National Socialists. But Saffer, of course, is a communist, is he not? Really, let's be honest. What is he? He's a communist. All the races of the world are done. Finished, kaput. In it, bruv. Yeah, there's only one race now, the human race, in it. That's communism. Sounds like John Lennon, and Imagine. He probably lives in that world while he's off his tits on cocaine. And we know for a fact he's a long-term cocaine user because all of the sources come back with the same material. And it's not, as I said, it's not just this particular little gang that we've infiltrated are also busy at work in many other regions of the country, in fact nearly every region of the country, targeting the centre right. And I would say to any nationalist, self-respecting, honest, decent nationalist, with a head for covert operations, that is, by all means go in and penetrate them, infiltrate them. I mean, don't penetrate them literally, my goodness, honestly, you might catch something. Truly, you wouldn't want to do that, would you now? But yeah, penetrate their little circles, their little conspirulent gangs. I mean, this is not the first conspiracy that I've seen against me. I've seen dozens of them. And most of them have been from the centre right, not the far left. Let that sink in, about who the real enemy is. And this is not just against me and Dean Neal. There's a number of other people actually mentioned in the transcript which I've not had access to, because I've only been given access to the transcript that relates to me, and quite rightly so, because I don't need to know everybody's business, and that's why we deal with these things. It's called operational security, and that's the way it should be. And so, yeah, they've been threatening a number of people. It's not just me, not just Dean Neal, there's a number of people, and obviously we can't speak too much about the remedial action that's been taken against them, but you can be absolutely certain that remedial action is in train. Absolutely, we're not just going to sit back and allow Saffer and his gang to incite black people and mixed race people to do his dirty work for him because he's too gutless and cowardly to do it himself, although that is the engine, the instrument of incitement in law. Saffer is the organ grinder of the incitement. It just goes to show you what little respect he has for black and mixed race people. He thinks they're so thick and dumb that he can just turn up at someone's home and do a live stream to YouTube and TikTok, and they'll go around and do the violence for him. It just goes to show you what his attitude really is towards non-white people, doesn't it? And Saffer is a scumbag. Anybody acting on his behalf will get dealt with in exactly the same way as a scumbag Saffer. Saffer is, in essence, a delinquent trapped in an old man's body. That's what Saffer is. He's got no real intelligence worth talking about. He is really dumb. I would say he's semi-literate from what I can see. In fact, most of them are semi-literate, and they don't come across as being particularly intelligent either, or clued up in any way, shape or form. And they're all incredibly arrogant and stupid. But what nationalists should learn from this evidence that we've published tonight is that this is what we're being subjected to across the entire country. And to me, it's getting very close to the days of red action and class war. And if it's going to continue like this, then we're going to have to deal with the centre-right scum in exactly the same way as we stop red action and class war. And that means reassembling the direct action units, which would give me great pleasure, I might add. Yeah, great pleasure. No problem at all. I have no problem with it at all. I wouldn't trust a bank copper in this country with the time of day, quite frankly. That's one thing I learned in the British National Party. And as for these people who think they have the right to incite violence against us, well, they're just going to have to learn the hard way, aren't they? Because there are consequences. It's not a case of silence is violence, it's a case of words is violence. Words leads to violence. In other words, the engine of incitement. And Saffer is not just inciting violence against a few of us, he's inciting violence against all nationalists. Look at the clip. If you see any nationalists here today, smash them in. That is incitement to violence. So now you know exactly how to deal with Glen Saffer. And if you see him on site, you have to presume that he's going to attack you, and you have to take whatever defensive actions you deem necessary to protect yourself against a drugged up little plastic gangster thug. Sorry, king of the roadmen. King of the roadmen. And if Saffer and his gang want to come up here, no problem at all. No problem at all. I mean, I've heard it all before from these gobshites and windbags. Come up here running your mouth off and making threats. No, I won't just stand there and tolerate it. Absolutely not. You'll learn the hard way. Definitely learn the hard way, like the others did, like John Mikes did in November 2002. Do you remember him? Oh, you don't know who he was, do you? I remember him. I don't know if he's still alive, but yeah, he should remember me as well, And why did that happen is because he pulled a knife on me and threatened to kill me. And that's what I do to people who pull stunts of that nature. You know, they get the John Mikes treatment, and I don't give a shit about bank coppers, the courts or prisons. You know, these people are trying to start a war, quite frankly. And then you have to ask yourself this damning question. Why is it all these centre-right groups keep ranting about civil war, the imminency of civil war? They've rolled out one of their favourite clowns, Colonel Richard Kemp, to talk about the imminency of immediate action, of civil war. There is no sign of the immediacy of civil war anywhere in this country. So why are they talking it up? Look at their language. It's become far more bellicose, aggressive, actively plotting criminal conspiracies to launch violent attacks on us. You know, this is what we used to do to Red Action and other left-wing groups, yeah? We had people planted inside their organisations, we intercepted their mail, and we hit them, and hard. That's how we stopped Red Action and class war, okay? These people are behaving in exactly the same way. Don't ever forget it. Every nationalist in this country is under threat from these people and their obsession, their lust for violence. So we've exposed Saffer tonight and his criminal gang, well, quasi-criminal gang, for want of a better description, the plastic roadmen. And truthfully, it should really be a warning from recent history as to what happens when you're dealing with people who are constantly plotting and scheming and conniving and inciting violence. You just think of the arrogance of it. That they think they have some sort of moral right to sit back and do this. And that they want to incite non-whites to do it. The extent to which these trash have betrayed their own people and their own culture and their own nation. They sing, "You're not English anymore" at the police. Well, we can say to them quite clearly, they're not English anymore. They're just deracinated white trash. Deracinated white trash. And they'll be dealt with. I can absolutely guarantee you that. Because we are not going to sit back and just let them plot, scheme and connive violent attacks on us and our home addresses. Absolutely not. So we know where Saffer lives. And his little cripple. That's right. You know, we're not going to dox him because we don't want innocents to be targeted. We only go after the prime malefactors. Okay? And so for my part, I say this. Don't underestimate any of these gangs allied to Tommy Robinson. And in a sense, what Saffer's doing is he's trying to get back in Tommy's good books. He's trying to crawl, arse-lick the boss. Look, Tommy, look what I've been doing. I've been taking on that Simon Tomlin for you, innit, bruv? You know what I mean? Please let me back into the club. Please let me back into the grifting gang so I can get some free coke out of all the donations with all the other scumbags. Oh, and did I mention Andy Saxon? I think I mentioned Andy Saxon, didn't I? Oh, I didn't. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. Sure. Anyway, his name's not Andy Saxon. I know what his real name is, and I know his terrible past. But I'm not going to expose that tonight. On the contrary, I'd like to, quite frankly. But no, that's going to be done later by someone else, by a friend of mine. He's going to expose him. Well, he's part of the team that's in the process of making the the instruments necessary to expose him in the public domain. Yeah, so Andy Saxon is a very interesting creature, as you'll find out in due course. And they're all grassers. Andy Saxon, Ginger Tony Collins, Glen Saffer, even Tommy Robinson. They're all grassers. And of course, Danny Tobman, another low-life scumbag, another police informant. Documented fact. So, at the end of the day, you seriously think you can trust the police? You can go running to the police with whatever complaints you want. They're not going to do anything about it. It has to be dealt with by us. We have to protect ourselves, just as we've always had to. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And you've seen here tonight the evidence that proves why we've got to defend ourselves. And any nationalist who wants to ignore this or underestimate it, then that's at your peril. But I won't be doing anything of the sort. And the state of panic tonight in in East Anglia will be a delight when it's reported back to me from our undercover sources there, because their entire operation is going to go into meltdown by at least 9 p.m. tonight. Deep joy, what's not to like? Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Agenda. There'll be more good material coming soon.